Happy New Comic Book Day, everybody. Yes, it's real. Another week of new comics. We're almost getting back in a full stride. Marvel's jumped out against the mix, dropping a few new titles today, 5, including Amazing Spider-Man, Avengers, Marauders. So we have a lot more books, and as far as I know, almost all the publishers are back shipping again. So tons of cool stuff today. So today I want to drop a few of those titles, again, along with the ones I just mentioned, as well as this other piece of random merchandise that I saw in Diamond shipping list, as well as jump into a discussion about some of those other titles as well. So some of the titles that you can expect to see in stores today or online, if you prefer digital, are Merca and Dolfo's Mercy #2 from Image. There's a couple Power Rangers books. DC's double dipping with Flash and Wonder Woman, dropping not only single issues, but also the latest Giant, 100-page Giants #4. But if you picking those up from Walmart, then you would have seen those in stores because they usually drop, I believe, a week and a half, 2 weeks prior to them hitting comic shops. But those are definitely recommended if you're just looking for something to pick up. 100-page Giants, $4.99. So definitely go check those out. Usually, 3, 4, 5 stories. 5. I don't know. I think one of the ones I read had 5 or 6 stories in them. So a lot of value for the money. So highly recommend to go and check those out. And then the other piece of merchandise, so I was looking through, I was like, let me go check down the merchandise just to see what kind of stuff is out, usually action figure wise. Then I get down to, and I always check Evangelion because it's my favorite anime, one of my favorite properties out there. So there's a couple of things for Evangelion, some model kits. But then I go down to Neon Genesis Evangelion, and there's a new lanyard. I was thinking, what? Another lanyard? And y'all, I talked about this before. Y'all know I love my lanyards. So I think I'm gonna have to actually hit my shop and be like, yo, I need y'all to order this for me, or just figure out a way to order it because I just need another lanyard, and it's Evangelion. I gotta have it. So I think I will just have to order that. So that's just a bunch of the stuff that is out today. And then we get into some of the news, and we're gonna go with Marvel. Marvel jumping back into the mix, shipping some new titles. They also dropped some news lately about some of the titles that they will be switching over to digital only. So last week I believe I talked about some of theirs along with some of the DC ones, which included Supergirl and the Terrifics. But Marvel is switching over 3 more titles added on to, I believe, the 8 that they've already announced that will be digital only. And those include Valkyrie, Jane Foster, Scream, Curse of Carnage, which are 2 ongoings, and then there's a limited Revenge Cosmic Ghost Rider. But then there's also the previous titles that they had already said will be switching over to digital only, which is just such a thing. That's why we're going to get into that as well. So it's Ghost Spider, Ant-Man, Avengers of the Wastelands, I don't even know what that is, honestly, Ravencroft, Star, Marvel Spider-Man, The Black Cat Strikes, Hawkeye Freefall, and 2020 Ironheart. And the Star one is crazy too, because isn't that only a 5-issue miniseries anyway? And I think, as far as I know, at least 3 of those issues are already out. So it's kind of wild that you're going to do that. So that's what the big thing here. So I want to ask all of you, what do you think about the titles that are switching to digital only after having been released in print up until this point or whatever? So there's one thing to launch a new title and say, all right, this title is going to be digital only. Then you switch over, but then switching over titles to digital only is quite a thing. There are different perspectives of this, obviously from the publisher standpoint, and then you have readers as well as collectors. So as I mentioned with Supergirl being not only one of my favorite characters, but a title I like. So you have 42, it's ending at 42, and you've already published 40, so you're dropping the last 2 issues the last 2 issues will be published digital only. But then there will be, all of those titles, including the Marvel ones, will be available in print in the collected editions. So now as a reader, if you're digital only, no problem, because imagine you just keep that's business as normal. But if you're not too worried about the collecting aspect and you're just a reader, but you're picking up the physical copies, now you have that thing like, okay, well, I can just switch over to digital. Some people still prefer, who may not be as big into the collecting aspect, may kind of look at that and go, okay, well, I can just pick up the last 2 issues digitally if I want. But then you could just say, then you have the collectors who, all right, you're picking up all these issues in floppy format. Now, what am I going to do? So you still want to read those two, but do you want to read digital? Then you don't have a print or you don't have a print copy of that. So then you just wait for the trade. Then you're kind of stuck with buying a trade for 2 issues when you already have the previous issues that will be included in the trade. It just becomes a waste. So then you can looking at it as, okay, this trade is going to be massively overpriced for your specific needs because you only need 2 issues. So what could the trade might be? And you know, trades run various prices. So typically for, you know, could be looking at 13, 14, all the way up to, who knows, $20. And you really only want it for 2 issues. So that's a big question I want to ask all of you. Another question I want to ask all of you is, where do you stand on this? What will you be doing for any of those titles that you were reading in print format and now they're switching over to digital? Are you going to buy those issues digitally, or are you going to wait for the trade? Let me know, because I'm looking at that now. Like, I could just do that, but then honestly, I don't really mess with the DC Comics app, except for just kind of messing around with it or grabbing free issues every so often. But I really don't use it. I use the Marvel Comics app a lot more because Marvel offers up free digital copies of their books. So, and I use those, I redeem those codes, and I like to have those issues just on my phone, just for the hell of it, access to them. But then we've gotten back to giving some away, because I have with variants and then just other books for other copies of books that I didn't enjoy the read of. I've gone back to giving them away on Twitter. So if you, on Twitter at all, if you follow me on Twitter, you've seen in the last week or so, I've given them a few titles away, including, I don't even remember what they were now. One was Absolute Carnage. I have several copies of Absolute Carnage, #1. So I'll be giving a few more of those away because I have a couple variants. And I gave away, I think it was a Deadpool, or no, there was a Moon Knight one for the Moon Knight Annual because I had 2 of those variants. So I had an extra copy. And one thing is, especially with variants, if I have extras because of the variants, so I'm giving those away because I have absolutely I can't redeem. There's no point in redeeming 2 codes for the same book. So give it away on Twitter as it is. And then I'm amassing just a whole bunch of, and I'm making notes of the ones that have extra just for the people. So that's what I really just want to know from all of you, because I'm looking at Supergirl and Valkyrie Jane Foster, which I just finished reading War of Kings. That's a whole different story. But War of the Realms, Malekith's War, and so that led into Jane Foster becoming a Valkyrie, as that was kind of the follow-up to that, because her Mighty Thor series led into War of the Realms there. So that's that. Just wanted to highlight some of the titles that are out in stores today, as well as digital marketplaces, as well as just talk about some of the news regarding the titles that are switching over to digital only. So just let me know in the comments below what you think of all those. What books are you looking forward to this week? How are your shops handling things? Have any of your shops started to open back up? Again, as I mentioned last week, this will affect every part of the world differently, because some areas, states, countries, cities are still shut down, and some shops haven't been able to open the doors yet. So how are your shops coping with this, and what are they doing? What do you think about this? Again, as you go out, I know everybody's excited about comics coming back and shipping regularly again, but still, I must stress this: be safe, protect yourself, protect your family, all that good stuff. Don't let the joy of comics, even though we all love comics and we're happy to see comics back, just don't let that cloud your judgment. So just maintain your distance, mask, gloves, like whatever your precautions that you've been taking in the past 2 months, keep those going. It's not over yet. So just again, protect yourself, be safe, and yeah, happy reading, happy hunting, happy collecting. Comics are back. Let's enjoy it. Yeah, so that's that. Thanks for watching. Peace out.